What are delinquents in Canada like?
Yeah, what's a Canadian
Delinquents
delinquent? Someone who doesn't say please and thank you, delinquent.
Delinquents, John, or like if they weren't wearing the school uniform properly, then that would be like a really big issue. I can't really say that there's like a defining feature of like juvenile delinquents. Look like John. It usually does.
It could be anyone.
It could be anyone. Welcome everyone. Welcome back to Pagoda 1 with
George from the UK.
John from America.
and Joanne from Canada. And today we are going to be doing part dos of our video in regards to juvenile crimes in our respective countries.
So much fun, we had to make 2 videos.
Yes. So in the last video, we kind of talked about our respective school situations, youth crimes that are predominant in each of our countries. Today's video, we're going to be focusing more on, I guess, characteristics of juveniles in our respective countries, but also our thoughts on how we can change these juvenile crime rates.
And stereotypes about young people,
Yeah.
who commits crimes, and what the government thinks and what the governments do. I have a lot of stuff in the UK about that.
Oh wow!
And
Let's do one episode for you, and then the other
the
two.
George show. I guess I'll start. So,
Yes.
so there's often a lot of good perceptions of young people and kind of inflated ideas about how much crime they commit. It commits those crimes.
Yeah.
So what I want to talk about, there's a lot of stuff from the UK, but the kind of thing for me growing up that I was familiar with, like, not if you guys ever heard about this, but there's a whole huge controversy about hoodies.
Hoodies.
Hoodie sweatshirt, and also people who wear them being called hoodies.
Oh,
So like you
like
are
they're
a
actually
hoodie, you are a
specifically
hoodie,
called hoodies.
John is a hoodie, I could have been a hoodie, I wasn't.
Okay.
Hoodie, the garment, hooded sweatshirt, just, casual thing that we all wear casually. Super associated with young people committing crime.
Yeah.
So basically what happened, I think in 2005 or 6, when I was a teenager, shopping centre, and that banned people from entering the shopping centre if they were wearing a hoodie.
No
because
way.
they were associating it with crime, and then this became a
Seriously?
national news story. Everyone was like, "What, really?" And there's an association where young people who commit crime, they wear hoodies, they wear sweatpants, tracky bottoms, and that's what it is. So the garment became kind of stigmatized, but that's happened a lot through history, like different garments and hairstyles, punks, all these previous things, like movements, sort of counterculture movements, get these associations, and the hoodie and the kind of that clothing style was the new generation of that when I was growing up. The hoodie was seen as this kind of, it was all very classist. I think you guys might have similar stories. So it became associated with this either imaginary or imagined, whatever, underclass of British society. So economically well-off people who became associated with crime. They obviously commit crime, but people of all ages and backgrounds commit crime.
This is true.
So it became a very exaggerated stereotype of the hoodie wearing child or teenager. So in TV, you'd see TV from the 2000s. You see things,
But the people are just wearing.
And it's like often it's like boys on hoodies and they're on a
Oh.
bike and they're riding around. They maybe got a knife and they'll like rob you and they'll cycle away with a hoodie laughing. So the big thing is the hoodie hides your face.
Yeah.
So because CCTV became more and more common at that time,
Right.
the hoodie became a way to hide your face. Cut to 2011, and there was a spate of riots in the UK against a police shooting, which is a whole other issue.
Yep.
But it happened, and there was a whole kind of protest against it, protest that erupted into nationwide riots in the city centres, and people were wearing hoodies to in the protest without their faces being recognised.
Right.
Hoodie became the symbol of misguided criminal youth, and there's a lot of race linked to this as well.
Yes. Yeah.
Not exclusively in that sense, but often it gets tied to race and class. And also the way you speak, so dialect and accent.
Yeah.
So someone who has a particular accent from a part of London, particularly accent that's associated with an ethnic group, he might get stigmatized more as a criminal. That's faded away now. That's very much like 10, 15 years ago. I'm not sure what the current stereotype is, but that lingers.
I don't know. Sometimes when I watch a lot of British YouTube and streams and stuff, and there's still like when they're pretending to be someone hard, they'll hit that accent 100% of the time.
And I guess now, since then it was chavs. We've heard chavs in Scotland. Neds. Shout out to all the Neds. Not always bad people. They just like wearing sweatpants and kind of sportswear brands, seen as
That's true.
delinquent.
Yeah.
What delinquents in Canada like?
Yeah, what's a Canadian
Delinquents
delinquent? Someone who doesn't say please and thank you, delinquent.
Delinquents. John.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's see in Canada. Should I even like start this? I feel like a lot of the delinquents in Canada are misrepresented because a lot of them are kind of like selectively chosen because of like their appearance or like their racial ethnicity, those kinds of things. So there's obviously a really strong misrepresentation in like the legal system or the ones that are imprisoned in that case. That's due to a lot of like systemic reasons. So like financial backgrounds, class, even like generational historic trauma. So I could go into a hugely long rant about like Indigenous peoples of Canada and the injustices that they faced. But I think that's a very, very long topic that I think is like a topic for a completely different video, just that dealt a really, really bad hand. And like they don't have clean access to clean water in most cases, and as a result, like sometimes they're just kind of forced into a very specific kind of lifestyle. It gives them a very bad reputation, which is not indicative of who they are as people. Typically kind of very similar, lots of like sweatpants, lots of like baggy clothing is typically represented as like a bad person, mostly because like I guess if you have baggier clothes, it's easier for you to conceal a weapon compared to like if you're wearing jeans. Like it's very easy to see if there's something on you, right? Typically in our school, usually if kids were wearing baggier clothing or like if they weren't wearing the school uniform properly, then that would be like a really big issue, I guess, in our case. But other than that, I can't really say that there's like a defining feature of like juvenile delinquents. Look like John. It usually does.
It could be anyone.
It could be anyone.
In this
it
room.
could be John.
Wow.
In the US.
I mean, I'm going to echo a lot of that. There's a hugely disproportionate amount of quality going on with a lot of the justice system. That is, again, another video and everything like that. I do want to say, like, there's a certain image of that gangster. Your baggy clothing, you've got your white shirt, you've got whatever baggy, whatever. It's not. Of course, ski masks are always seen as like immediate criminal.
You mean like a baklava?
No,
like
it's the ones with
baklava.
I don't know what that is.
No, not a baklava.
Balaclava.
Sorry.
Pants being low. Pants not being up and tight, but being low on the butt.
That's true.
Just all that type of loose clothing and stuff. However, if you really look into who has being arrested or who is actually committing crime, regardless of the disproportionate nature, it's just like adults, it's people of all backgrounds, colors, everything. How do we fix this? What are your opinions on how we can make the justice system better for the juveniles?
I think it has nothing to do with the courts and the police.
Okay. Parents?
I wasn't going to say that, but yeah, it's social work. It's the social care system. So the UK's system has been ravaged by successive governments who don't care. And there's now such poor services available to prevent people getting into the position where they feel they need to commit a crime. Where they have to commit a crime to survive. They don't have, a child doesn't have the guidance or support and love to keep them on a good path. So I think it's investing in counseling, health support, addiction support, all that kind of stuff to prevent the root of the causes. Because I think arresting people and throwing them in jail, it's like putting a band-aid
on cancer or something.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say.
It's like reactive rather than being like...
like with medicine, we should be preventive and build like a stable society before the crimes get. That's a big idea.
Yeah.
Yes.
What are you guys' ideas?
I'm pretty much on board with you. Wrote down was pretty simple. Like, it shouldn't be punishment, it should be rehabilitation. Focusing on rehabilitation, meaning if the crime is committed, hot take, this is what I think about adults too. Most adults should be a focus on rehabilitation for especially children, but also adults in my opinion. But should think about how can we up their lives in a way that supports them through counseling or whatever, in order to make sure that this crime is not recommitted or a different crime committed. Also, I like that, like even the preventative measures.
Like, just to echo both of your sentiments, mostly it's just about like targeting the issues before they happen. So like in some cases, lots of people say like, increase in single parent households. So because their single parents are like working and don't have anybody to really guide them in some cases. So at least from a social work perspective, there are lots of different kinds of services that have been established, at least in the neighborhoods that I've been in. So like Big Brothers, Big Sisters, where they have like mentorship programs to like guide kids into success or into like more successful positions rather than really bad ones or troublesome ones.
Is that supported by the government?
A non-profit, but I think there is government funding for it to an extent, but honestly, it'd be really nice if the government could support it even more. Thank you very much for watching this video. Thank you very much for listening to our ideas, as well as what we have to say about juvenile crime in each of our respective countries.
And of course, we always want to hear about your side and what you think about us and our ideas as well,
For sure.
especially George's.
Yes.
Yeah, please criticize everything I said.
Mostly his accent, though.
Mostly.
Oh yeah, please criticize my accent and ask more questions.
All right, everyone. I think you need to remember to
Like this video.
comment on this video.
And subscribe.
And everybody, on the count of three, or 1,
On the count of 3,
2, 3.
Share.
All right, everyone. Have a good day. Bye bye.
Have a good day. Hardly. Bye.